Small drones carry small warheads, so they can hit a tank in exactly the right spot. They may barely scratch the armored exterior, and often there is an easy way. In a video from Ukraine's Shadow Division posted on May 8, a drone hovers above an abandoned Russian T-90M tank and, with exquisite care, drops an American M67 hand grenade through an open hatch. A light puff of smoke is followed by thicker smoke. The fire takes hold and soon the tank is ablaze, with a series of explosions as the stowed ammunition and smoke grenades cook off in the heat. Before long, Russia's most advanced tank, valued at over $4 million, is a burning wreck, thanks to a $50 grenade from a $2,000 drone. The M67 is a fragmentation weapon, useless against the outside of a tank, but from the inside its 6 ounces of explosive is enough to destroy one. The next day, Shadow Division posted another such wrecking job on another T-90M on May 9th. Many such videos showing Russian tanks destroyed by grenade drops through open hatches. Which leads to the question, why don't Russian tank crews simply close the hatches when they leave? The simple answer is that leaving hatches open is standard practice, and the hatches are extremely heavy. They need to be protected to the same degree as the rest of the tank roof, which means at least 2 inches of armor plating weighing 100 pounds or more. Some tank hatches are sprung to make opening easier, and the IDF Merkava even has power-assisted hatches, but Russia uses simpler technology. So, closing a tank hatch takes time and effort, and anyone bailing out of a Russian tank is likely to be in a hurry. Russian tanks have a design trade-off which has the ammunition carousel for the automatic loader sharing space with the crew. This means that the crew is 3 rather than the 4 needed in most Western tanks, but it also means that any penetrating hit is likely to set off the stored ammunition. Usually with huge explosion and turret toss, flinging the turret high into the air and killing the occupants instantly. If the tank strikes a mine or is hit by a missile or FPV drone and is immobilized, the commander will order the crew to abandon it. A few seconds mean the difference between getting away to a safe distance when the tank explodes or being at ground zero for a massive fireball. Crews understandably get out and away as fast as they can, leaving hatches open behind them, and an added issue is the presence of multiple FPV drones which often hunt down surviving crew members. As the old joke goes, when a bear is chasing your party, you do not need to be faster than the bear, just faster than the slowest member of the party. Leaving hatches open is costing the Russians a fortune in destroyed equipment, so what would happen if crews were compelled to shut tank hatches on pain of serious penalty? Even if some tankers managed to remember the order in the heat of battle and decided to risk their lives carrying it out, each tank had 3 crew members, each escaping through their own hatch. If compliance with the order was 50%, then the chance of all 3 hatches being shut would be 50%. If compliance was 80%, around half the abandoned tanks would have 1 or more hatches left open. Russia has made many advances on the battlefield, but Russian equipment losses on Ukraine are thought to be so high that it will be difficult to find replacements as Moscow draws down on its vast stores of Soviet-era vehicles. That assessment by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, on Wednesday follows reports on how satellite imagery had shown the extent of depletion of Russian military vehicles in storage facilities over the course of the war in Ukraine. Open-source intelligence X-Account Jompy, which tracks Russian military depots, posted on May 6 that Russian stores of armored fighting vehicles, AFVs, had decreased by nearly a third, 32%, compared with pre-war levels down from 15,152 in 2021 to 10,389, a loss of 4,763. The X account said that satellite imagery had also found Russia had pulled most of its MTLB multipurpose AFVs from storage, where only 922 remain compared with 2,527 pre-war. Its tally suggested that only 244 Bermudian dollars airborne amphibious tracked infantry fighting vehicles, IFVs, remained, compared with 637 before the full-scale invasion. Figures also revealed dwindling reserves of other vehicles, such as newer model BTR 60s, 70s, and 80s, and the account said Russia is only fielding between 1,000 and 2,000 of its remaining MTLB multi-purpose amphibious AFVs. The British International Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, said on February 12 Russia could probably sustain its annual rate of vehicle losses over 3,000 AFVs for at least 2 or 3 years, mainly by reactivating vehicles from storage. The IISS said Moscow's forces lost over 3,000 AFVs last year, and around 8,000 of the vehicles over the course of the war, forcing it to reactivate at least 1,180 main battle tanks and about 2,470 IFVs and armored personnel carriers from storage. Meanwhile, the open-source intelligence X account Mars posted on Wednesday that satellite imagery has suggested that during the war, Russia has removed roughly 60% of its artillery systems from a towed artillery storage base. However, half the remaining artillery systems at the base are probably unusable because of degradation in storage and too old to be compatible with modern ammunition, the post added. The ISW said Wednesday that losses of Russia's Soviet-era stores of vehicles are at levels far higher than can be compensated for by its defense industrial base, which will not be able to replace them for many years. The think tank added that Russia will likely struggle to adequately supply its units with materiel in the long term without transferring the Russian economy to a wartime footing, which Putin has so far tried to avoid. It comes after the revelation that Russian soldiers returning from war have killed and wounded more than 200 people. The killings were mostly carried out by soldiers who were formerly prison inmates and were freed in order to bolster numbers on the front line in Ukraine.